Try that again. There we go. Now it's up. Just wait a second for it to digitally propagate. Yeah, when you paint it, you see less of the glass and you see more of the stuff, right? It's funny how much comes out in painting. It kind of pops out, and to see it with shoes on too, to see it with wheels and the wheel wells. I had to move the nose back about 1.7 millimeter for it to fit, because most cars have a really long wheelbase as opposed to the 1/24ths, which are really wide, and so that width makes them have less of a wheelbase when you scale a body up to fit. So this is actually individual nodes. I took all the nodes of the fender and I scooched it back a little bit. And then I took a little further of a bite and scooched that back a little bit. It made the glass a little bit weird, but it made the nose short enough so that now my wheels are in the middle of the wheel well. And now I can take the base, with all the wheels positioned, and I can move that to another body if I feel the need. Yeah, it's funny that the paint doesn't show any additional detail. I'm not painting over any additional details. It's just highlighting the details that are there. It's weird how that works. Like you don't get as much brightness from the windshield, and then that lets you see some of the other contours in what is a very cool, cybery looking car. All right, YouTube, I'm getting you up. Sorry, I'm just getting real distracted. We had Madamu say hey in the YouTube chat. How you doing? How you doing, Madamu? Pop that out. Not you, Madamu. You keep popped in. Under all costs, you keep yourself popped in. Do not pop out explicitly. But I have popped them out, which is worse than it sounds. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay, and then this has frozen. All it says is that I'm running late. Oh, there we go. Was the thermal cam a single blob on 160p? Huh? What you mean? The thermal camera is very low pixel density. It's like a very, very low P image. I don't know what to call it. I'm gonna start sweating if I don't get a friggin' fan on me this very instant. Now we're doing something different today. You guys know that in the past, in the nasty pasty, what I do is explain to absolutely everyone everything that I was doing. Oh my God, the hair from the dog. I would explain absolutely everything, and it would take hours and hours on end of just me explaining myself. When I get to working today, and I'm not working yet, I'm just talking to you guys. When I get to working today, I'm gonna just work. I need to get this stuff done, and I haven't worked on it in a little while. I'm kind of burning outy on the hardware of this thing. Check this out. Pop, pop. So I have two magnetic connectors on this. They're magnetic pogo pins. These are like $10 for like 2 pair. Ridiculous. They're way too expensive, but they're just little, you can get them up to 5 pins, and they're just little magnetic pogo pin connectors. These are on some tactical gear I've seen. I think Hollow Sun, I think uses these on their like camera co-witnessing things, just because it's a flat surface, so you don't have to worry as much about the ruggedity. I don't know, the ruggedness of it. And then if you seal around it, you can have a waterproof, external connector that just snaps a magnet in place. So these snap a magnet in place, and they have different styles. I got the wrong style, but there were enough 3D models of all of the styles on Thingiverse that I was able to create these six pins of magnetic connectors that hold the body on. And since these are using rare earth magnets, these things are pretty sticky. So I can drop the body down and have 6 different functions. What I did learn about the this printer, the Goop printer, is that when I size holes, I have to be aggressive about how narrow they are. I had to drop these down there with some super glue in them because they just don't grip to this. So some measurement is necessary for screws. I have to relearn how to do those. But now I can just hold this up and it snaps in, and then pop. And then that's strong enough to hold up the car. So I hope it doesn't come out when I go around a hard turn with this thing, but I'm gonna be aggressive on those hills. Listen, I don't know what I say. Things come out of my mouth. Something just screeched. Was that the music? I think it was a music screeching. Oh, watch out for that. Wow, these plugs over here don't look very happy. I don't think this touched and made the thing... No. Weird. It's probably part of a mix. It's a 14-year-old mix. 16? Oh my god, if I had a baby when this mix was released, they'd be a 16-year-old. Yeah, holds pretty well. I'm excited about that. I think I need to stop working on this for a little bit, though. And one thing that I'd love to do is choose just like a random car body, like do like my station wagon, get an E39 station wagon 3D model for free, and then work it into an RC car body in one stream. I don't know if I could manage that. I'm not sure if I could. You core out all the stuff inside, you know, get rid of a lot of the polygons until you have an outer shell, stitch up the wheel wells, make a sketch for them, close up the bottom, use Fusion to make a shell out of it so that there's an actual like polygon shell on the inside, cut it horizontally using the sketch, then match it up to the body and bring it out so that it's big enough to cover the wheel wells, and then stitch it up with some simple extrusions so that it has body mounts. That's not a lot, but a lot of things have to just kind of work for that to work out. Twitch is going to give me a notification when the streamers I follow go live. I totally didn't have to check Discord to see if you were streaming. I'm sorry that you have to do that. I encourage the engagement. That's very engaged of you. That's, you know, you got to go through a lot of steps. I guess YouTube's going to be quiet and Twitch is going to be the loud one today. Depending on what algorithms my ugly mug gets pushed through in order to get to you guys. But yeah, I've been working on this because it's a big man baby thing. I haven't been able to get outside to like drive it around. I drove this one around the shop a little bit, and then I was looking to see what paints, you know, look good. I think the body probably needs to be white or just another light color. And I think I'll keep the gray one. I think this is just going to be it for a little while until I can drill these out and put like LEDs behind them. What I think I can do is make like little LED units and just put them up on the body and use them as the tool to extrude, and that'll make the cutouts that I'll need. So that'll be a whole nother session of printing. It'll be a big session of printing, unfortunately. Yeah, this is so wasteful, all these car bodies that I'm making. These are going right in the trash after stream. These just go in the trash. This one even has proper body mounts. I just don't like the color that I painted it. I don't like, it's too dark. It's going in the trash. I'm not keeping this for any reason. It's so warming up to the idea of RC car hobby. The only problem is I'm a giant fat guy, and I then have to be this giant fat man baby standing outside with a little RC car zipping around. It's, I don't know. No, I'm not going to paint over it. I can just print up another one. Because the paint, the more layers of paint that I have on this thing, like I didn't even do primer on this in order to get this detail. I love the triangles pointing backwards on the hood. Like, I love that. But I'm going to lose that as I get more layers of paint, because it'll just smooth over everything. And then I don't know how paint sticks to the paint marker. Whereas I can just hit Control P and have another one of these sitting there. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't know. Then I gotta go look like a big man baby. I need to find if people like do RC car stuff around me. You're making me want to get a resin printer again. This is in fact the reason that I got the resin printer. Otherwise, we don't really have a use for the resin printer here. I did it purely for content, so that I could print little RC car bodies that look cool. Because eventually this will be like a worthy showing. It's maybe I could make a YouTube video out of it or something, because I'll be able to do lighting on it. You're gonna make I will create my own following in this hobby if I have to raise them from the ground up. And then when I inevitably chuck this thing into a curb at 150 miles an hour, it will explode. I'm ready for the body to explode. It doesn't matter to me. D&D, Warhammer, yeah, all those hobbies benefit from an SLA printer, for sure. My friends already have one. They already have one that they all use, and so a buddy of mine does all the printing for them. So that's fine that they do that. I can't be that for them. But then again, I have a whole stream to print stuff for. What is this train wreck going on right now? Yeah, because these printers are made to do like figurines all day, every day. That's all people do with them. I mean, it's like, oh, okay, here's a D&D figurine that I've got now. But I'm not a giant man baby. I don't do the man baby toy hobbies. I'm not printing Funko Pops. I hate those things. Hey, Long Dog. I'm in Idaho using a laptop. Holy shit. Well, you're not obligated. You don't have to be here. It's okay if you get pulled away for other stuff. We're just talking about man baby stuff. Yeah, I discovered I did a little bit after seeing this stuff, like this car body and finding the low poly model on Thingiverse. I probably could have made my own low poly model, but you know, I found one and I've been working with it to learn how to work with car bodies and stuff. And so I've been working with it for a while. I finally watched a YouTube video about the Lancia 37 and discovered that I am in fact violating what is part of the annals of car history, in that this is all-wheel drive, and this car was rear-wheel drive, famously winning Group B rally. So it was the last rear-wheel drive to win Group B. So I'm defiling it a little bit with my designs here. I just thought, hey, that looks cool. A 16-year-old train wreck, yeah. I've been called that before. We will pay you for models because they're definitely cheaper than first-party Warhammer. Yeah, that's trouble for them, isn't it? Because, like, Games Workshop was like, you can't use 3D printed anything. And then 3D printers are like, how can you tell? You can't tell. We've got all the resolution we'd ever need. Short Lurker linked me to this buggy, a 1/24th scale buggy. And I'm looking at it like, you know, that's not going to be able to go on grass. It's really for, like, hard floors and a little bit of dirt. The buggy is the ideal RC car body shape because it goes on grass and it goes on road and it goes on dirt just fine. Whereas, you know, on road, of course, I'm limited to smooth surfaces, and a truck, I mean, is fine. That's fine too. But it's generally like you think of that for off-road. One of them just started $300 on two 6-inch models. I never really came to terms with the price of Warhammer. I had, like I've told this story many times, in high school, no, middle school? Actually, it might have been lower school. We had, like, end-of-the-day hobbies that you had to sign up for, and I signed up for, like, model building because, you know, I like building stuff. And so somebody left behind what I now understand is a Space Marine model. It was one of the metal ones, too, as I recall. And I painted it. And I thought, that was fun. I wonder where this came from. And this friend of mine at the time did that thing that kids do, where they hoard their knowledge and they decide to irritate the hell out of you by not telling you a thing. And so they laud their knowledge over you. They go, I know where that came from, and I'm not going to tell you where. And I said, why? Why not just tell me where it came from? I'd like to know. And the fact that I wanted to, because you wish for it, because I wanted to know where the model came from, he never told me. And what he did in that act, he did not harm me. He saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. And I have to thank him for being such a wiener. Yeah. No, he knew, because it just came from the comics shop. It came from the comics shop that was like up the street a little ways from my high school. So, but he saved me a lot of money. Yeah, painting experiments did not go amazingly. I could have done one thing I could try. I don't think it'll survive the process, but I could do weld through. Oh, we had a sub. What's going on there? Why would you do such a thing? Thank you so much. Jail, Halage. It's a Olage. Thank you for subbing with a prime. Appreciate that. I do have weld through primer that might conduct, and I could try to electroplate one of them. You imagine just having like a chrome I mean, they've already, you know, electroplating plastic is already a thing. It's just the electroplating. I could do like, what was I plating stuff with? Oh yeah, nickel. I could nickel plate this if it would survive the nickel acetate. Love the stream. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Everyone likes to be successful, but you don't often hear about it when you're streaming. You're just thinking about, hey, what numbers need to be bigger? Nice to get a little feedback. Yeah, so I was using paint markers just for fun, just to get a little bit of a sense of what the body actually looks like. It sort of reinvigorated. This is actually, I'm just going to throw this in the trash like right now. I just wanted to see what the different colors look like on it. Where I would go from here with this thing is to, I mean, the 3D printing process itself is wrought with issue. It takes a long time. This takes 4 hours, and I've got like peeling areas and places where I have to put little pock marks on the outside of the body. People use a carbon spray paint. Interesting. I don't know how this stuff reacts to nickel acetate. I think it might be okay. But make it a shock car. I don't know how far I want to really go with this body. I do want to keep doing stuff to it, and the eventual goal is to use the electrical contacts in the front and the rear to drive lighting. Because I can do that with the radio. I'd have to make a little bit more wiring harness stuff on this body, but then I could put headlights on it and taillights, and I could split the model by creating actual headlights and taillights and then extrude through and have it cut away, you know, what's already there. I could have it mount, just be like glue. These are supposed to be 3-color, by the way. Those aren't supposed to be like that. But this is the consumer version of the Lancia. What do you call it? It's not just the Monte Carlo. It's the 037 Strata something or other. I don't think it's Stradivaria, is it? I don't know. But anyway, it's the consumer version of that car, and not the Resto mod. This is not the Resto mod has circular taillights. The Resto mod is a $500,000 car, though. I haven't seen nickel plating, but I have seen many copper-plated prints. Yeah, the spray I have is copper, but what does copper require? Is it like a copper acetate? I have nickel acetate from the computer project. But no, I've had fun making the chassis into an actual real-looking car. And I could go further with this. I could find other car models and try to kind of refine my process, because I had to do a lot of learning with this one. This one had a lot of issues where I had to staple together the vectors. I had to bring it back and forth from Fusion to Blender, because Blender lets you actually edit nodes, whereas Fusion does not. Fusion has surface material stuff, and they probably do have other methods of scaling and sizing that I don't know about, because Fusion, you really have to kind of peel back the layers in order to get to this stuff. And it's possible that another product does this stuff better. But in Blender, I got that MS Paint level functionality, the low-level functionality that allowed me to grab a bunch of nodes and say, hey, only move this on the x-axis kind of in a little bit. I didn't get to assign numbers to tasks. It was all just kind of visually, like move it 1 pixel at this zoom rate, at this zoom level. I know chrome plating on plastic is a particular process. Not certain about nickel, though. Wayne Johnson. Waynington Johnston. Subbing for 53 months. Hey, that's a big number. How's everybody doing today? My sleep patterns have been absolutely terrible this week. I'm going to kind of hunker down the next couple days. I think I have a doctor's thing on Thursday, so I'm not going to be able to stream. Let me just double check that. I got like a text message about it the other day. Oh my god, there's so many useless texts here. Oh, a free $300 Amazon gift card. Of course that's legit. Oh, 10/21. Oh, that's the 21st. That's not the... I thought I had something on 10/10. All right, I need to change the end card and the next card. Nobody uses these, but I still keep them updated. Moderately. Sometimes I forget. So then we will be on October 10th. October 10th. God, is it already October? I can't wait for the election cycle to finish up. My PA ballot, I got the email that told me that my Pennsylvania ballot has been accepted. So anything that happens from here out is out of my hands. if whoever I voted for suddenly outs themselves as a devil-worshipping Russian plant, I have absolutely no control over that now. Free gift card. I got like an email that said, like, if you've used private on your browser, you might be eligible for $5,000 from Chrome. And I'm like, I don't think that's legit. I'm so suspicious of everything. I get so many terrible mails that are just fake. GG voting, thank you. Yeah, it's totally out of my hands now. I've done what I've done. And apparently I'm in one of these really contentious areas, like really contentious. So I'm doing my part to do the opposite of whatever you guys want, you know? I'm voting against my own special interests. Vote Walter Sobchak. Who the fuck is that? I mean, if it isn't transparent enough, I don't know why I have to spell it out for some people, but it's like I'm a singular issue voter. And I generally don't like single issue voting. I think that's kind of bad. But for me, I have diabetes. What do you think I'm doing out here? What the fuck? If you saw Big Lebowski, I haven't seen Big Lebowski in a long time, and I did not commit it to my deeply entrenched permanent memory like a lot of people have. So I can't contest that. Let me get some of my tools over here just so they're not missing for when I start working. We're doing something different today. It's not that different, but it is different, where I actually sit down and do work. I'm going to do work, and I'm going to explain less. I will explain very little of what I'm doing today. I am just going to do. And we'll talk during it, you know. I'm not going to shut you guys out. It is a stream after all, and I still need to be entertaining. 200 bidums. What is this corgi emote? Why not? Thank you so much. Why not? Because giving 200 bidos. Hey, I appreciate that. That's a soda. You just purchased me a crisp Diet Coke. Thank you. Yeah, I got a little too far in the RC Cars stuff, but I still need to email those guys back. I'm so sorry. If they're watching my content, they're probably not. They're probably just contacting other creators with the offer of Fusion 360 licenses for the low sum of one stream a month that has to do with Fusion. And I don't know what the stipulations on that are. But I figure I'll just sign up for it and see what it is. The worst that could happen is that I'm back to my consumer grade free version of Fusion, which is going to happen to my Fusion eventually anyway. The days are ticking down until my educational version goes away. And then all of a sudden I lose a lot. Like, oh man, I'm going to have to archive everything. It's going to be awful. At least I got this to this point. I don't know how I will treat components and assemblies once my license drops down, because the way that I treat them right now is they're all just separate files, and I think people group things up a lot more in the free version because you need to archive stuff. But I think, like, when you make the component, when you're done making the component, you can archive it, which calls into question the edit in place feature. I don't know what that is, or how that's going to be affected. It's a whole new order of operations, huh? OOP. God damn it, get the fuck out of my stream. I'm so sick of these fuckers. Ban, and then about 10 to 15 minutes later, we're gonna get another one. You hit that sweet spot of viewers, and then they figure that everybody is purchasing viewers, which is boy, what would that feel like? Could you imagine? Yeah, I pay for 2/3 of my views. I would imagine that some channels have built themselves up that way, though. You get the incredible amount of viewers from the purchase, and then more people find your stream, and then you don't need to promote yourself anymore because you're just up there on all the algorithms. Just asked my electroplating friend. They said they've not had luck with the graphite spray. What they do is mix graphite powder with Mod Podge. Ah, good old Mod Podge. Everybody uses Mod Podge in a 2-to-1 ratio. Interesting. And then I guess you deposit the Mod Podge on the metal pieces of your your model. That's cool. Buy viewers and get a brand deal faster. Maybe. Oh yeah, no, the thing is, like, the brand stuff on Twitch is kind of cracked for us smaller streamers because the Twitch numbers aren't as impressive as YouTube numbers. Because, you know, content on demand versus content that is live, you need people to have, you know, your schedule. And some of these folks that are trying, you know, on my level and smaller channels don't stay on schedule very well, which is not good. If you're bringing a big audience from YouTube, you can go off schedule a little bit. You can have a little bit less of a schedule, but it really helps to have like a militant time that you're on so that you're hitting the same time zones, you're hitting the same people, all that stuff. All right, there we go. Okay, knife is refreshed. That's better for working with the wires. I've still got piles of crap all over the place. Get some tools back to where they need to go, where they can be stored temporarily, where I can find them again. The process has been a nightmare of getting these 3D models to print properly, but I've gotten them to print flat on the scale, on the bed. I guess some of the institutional knowledge would say that maybe I should turn it like an entire 90 degrees, but I wanted most of that support to be inside of the body where it wouldn't matter if it's a rough surface. What's up, Kagas? How you doing? But yeah, it's been an arduous process. It's been a lot of printing over the weekend, and I got pretty much one car body out of the whole ordeal. Technically two, but I painted the other one too darkly. It was British racing green, and I didn't like it. And I'm just using paint markers to do the glass. Eventually, I would like to build that into the model so that I can do like a tinted print on clear, and then I can do clear prints for the headlight elements and the taillight elements. Because these will be pretty easy to put together. I mean, it's just, you put 3 LEDs on a little circuit board, or this one would be 3 LEDs as well. And then I can have varying strength LEDs. So I could actually have brights that you turn on from the controller. Because remember, we did FR Sky or whatever. We reflashed my controller so that I can use all 10 channels, I think, or 8 channels of the radio. And so you could assign those channels, and they're just a PWM on off. So you could have like, oh, those lights are too bright, I'm gonna fade them down a little bit. 45, so the nose is facing the bed. It'll still want to put supports on the back like this, but I mean, printing it, yeah, you can, with the Goop printer, you can do all kinds of weird shenanigans to get the thing to print properly, and then that makes the posts that hold up the magnet connector print more accurately because you're not trying to pull the entire flat piece off of the bed at once. These end up being rounded a little bit. And what I had to do is I had to, I can't really see it. I had to bridge them against the nose of the car so that they'd come in properly because this is printing, it's printing this way. So the bed is here and pulling up on the whole thing. So once those solidify, I need enough stuff that it'll pull it up or else it collapses in and then it gets all stupid. These always print perfectly because the little bits of them get pulled up and it sort of gradually builds. Really weird reconfiguring to do Goop printing because the FDM, the PETG, I really know how to print and I print it really well. And I know what the tolerances are and I know how to keep stuff stuck to the bed. But with the Goop printing, all bets are off. This is completely different. Yeah, this is Goop. How do you think I got this detail? I wouldn't be able to get this detail out of that. This is for structure. This is for looks. But yeah, now this thing kind of snaps in if I can get it right. It's hard to find the snap point. There it is. And that's strong enough to hold the car in. That's pretty good. There. It's not perfect, but it works really well. There's a little lip on these too, so when these snap in, the car body doesn't want to move forward and back, and then this can help lift as well. So it's really just that thing trying to pull straight down that'll disengage it. Pretty cool. I'm happy with this. If I can get headlights and taillights working, it'll look pretty cool. You didn't look so close. Yeah, it's like the detail's insane. It's hard to capture on a camera. It's so cool, though. I like the low polyness. I like how low the polys are. There's angles to it. And it's just generally a good-looking car. Of course, the Italian design, very Italian of them to do this. The back window and the view out the back is entirely blocked by the spoiler. They put this huge whale tail on this thing. Some of the versions of it, a lot of the versions of the Monte Carlo don't even have this, but it was a Barth styling. And so a Barth has to do some crazy shit with a wing every time they do a design. And so they put this giant whale tail on it, which looks cool, but if you look through the rearview mirror, there is just a tail. There's nothing else. You can't see anything. And it would be funny if I was actually using this like for production. Like if I use this body to do like filming with, it would be hilarious to get an FPV shot where you're looking and there's a rearview mirror and the only thing you see in the rearview mirror is just that tail. Yeah, that's the Italian philosophy. You're going forward very fast. You pass the car. You don't worry about what's behind you. Everything back there is in the past. It does not matter. Oh, I went a little German there for that. That's not a good accent. I need to work on it more. I'm so happy that the wheel fits, though. I didn't know if that would be the case. But it fits exactly to the turning of the car and allows for suspension travel. Because like on the actual car, the hub is all the way out here on the outside. These are inset a little bit, and these wheels are a little bit wide. But then the body can accommodate for that through the dimensions of the car and just how it works out. I don't know what precisely the scale is. Because this actually, the real version of this car is actually kind of small. It's actually kind of small for a car. It's a little guy. It's a little guy. It's a little tough-looking guy. Suspension! Yeah! Well, looks more like the body is collapsing, but it is actually suspension. Pretty cool. All right, but I gotta stop working on it for a little bit. I gotta put that project aside. Maybe I'll race this thing around outside like a big child, and eventually I'll tag the curb with it and it'll blow up into a billion pieces. And then I can say, all right, I gotta put this aside for now. It looks good on a shelf. Eventually we'll do more 3D modeling with it so I can do headlights and taillights. But until then, I gotta put it aside. I gotta work on other stuff. I've been bad. I haven't done my homework, chat. There's always somebody breathing over your neck in life, and in this case, it's the progression of my own projects. I gotta get stuff done. So we're gonna have a not unique, it's just a slight difference in what I normally do. I'm just not going to explain myself as I do my work, and people can come in and ask, and maybe if I have the bandwidth, I'll do something about it, but I need to get stuff done. Oh yeah, look at this. I mixed the clear with the gray so you can kind of see light shining through. And I didn't realize until I actually powered up the model, because when this thing is powered up, there's an incredibly bright blue LED on the gyro. An incredibly bright blue LED. Here, let me turn on the remote with it. An incredibly bright blue LED. Maybe I need to put something over that to block it, because what it does is when I put the body on, it lights up. Oh, this is the wrong one. I was wondering why it was so heavy. Heavy is the body. You can barely see it because of the studio lights, but the top of it glows blue. There's just this eerie blue glow from inside of the model. Let's see if I can like turn this off. If you could see it. I probably can't. It's too fast. This thing's too fast. Ah, I lost the wheel. Actually, that went in a place that I can't see. That's somewhere over there. Oh boy. Where did that tire go? I revved it. You're not supposed to rev it like that. Here, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn this thing off. I lost a shoe. Hold on, I'm just gonna get another one because that's behind stuff where I'm never gonna be able to find it again. I have more rubber. Let me see here. I got all these parts in here. This is super duper soft. That's too soft. too soft. I don't need the super duper sauce. I need the super duper soft. I need the slightly less, yeah, that would be this one. Okay. These are too soft. I need to get more of them like these. These are a bit of a harder rubber. When you've got the super soft rubber and you take it up to high speeds, they end up stretching and then they'll release themselves. It'll just throw the wheels off, in spite of whatever tape you use to hold on the wheel. This is an amazing double-sided tape. Not amazing. Looks naked without rubber on it. But yeah, I need to get more of that other type of rubber wheel, the slightly less soft stuff. I mean, more than anything, I need to be actually using this stuff. I need to go and actually drive the car around. Although there are a lot of dogs in the neighborhood, so I don't know if I should be driving the car around outside. I think it'll get chased if I'm not careful. There we go. Like new. All right, let's get to work. I got work to do. I got to get work done. My anxiety is getting the best of me. Honestly, like, these are personal projects, and I don't need to be getting incredible progress done on all of my projects at all time. I am not under any kind of, you know, strict deadline. It's just that I need to get throughput a little bit. So we need to quit working on the same stuff over and over again, because there's more that I need to get out of the stream. Part of that being, you know, doing more Fusion 360 streams, showing you guys this stuff, you know, that sort of thing, and you know, getting to the other things. I've got Julian and Dave like champing at the bit, trying to get another piece of equipment out of me. They're like talking about ideas, and it's like, I don't need ideas, guys. I need an intern is what I need. But we gotta force ourselves to work on the stuff that we don't feel like working on sometimes, and that's what we're doing today. We're getting progress done. We're just oogling this RC car project right now because I finally got this thing to print properly after like 65 different car bodies printing it. I finally got the supports capable of holding up all of the little RC car bits and actually having this body come out of the printer and be able to be mounted onto the frame. So this is my first blush at the actual car with wheels. In the future, I want to do glass, but that's going to be a lot of 3D modeling. It's going to be a lot of effort for what is essentially, I mean, the Lancia 37 was rear-wheel drive, and this is a famously all-wheel drive chassis with an even more famously rear-wheel drive rally car. I wanted to do a rally car, and I wanted it to not look like a hot hatch. I wanted it to have the sleek smoothness and the low height of the Lancia, because frankly, it's a gorgeous car, but also it's low to the ground. And part of that low to the groundness is reflected in the electronics that I specifically designed to be as low profile as I could get without doing super duper trickery. If I do super duper trickery, I could fill in some of these interstitial spaces with electronics. There's some little bits of room here and there that I could maybe sneak some electronics into. And then I'd have to find a motor controller that's much smaller than this. This DOS Micro is very small. I applaud their ingenuity on that, but it's also very wide. And there's probably, I don't know, probably in the pipe, they'll probably have a redesign of that. I'm guessing it'll be even smaller, and then I'll have to revisit all of these electronics. But this works really well. I mean, this works really well, and I've got the stuff really low profile on the cross beam. So in order to reflect that in the body that I chose to do the Lancia, because it's so low to the ground. Pretty cool. So low to the ground, in fact, that they had to have little pyramids. They're not pyramids in the actual car, they're rounded, but they had little pods for your helmet to fit into, lest you bump your head. All right, let's get to work. What are we doing today? Well, first of all, I'm fading out the music. Not a very chill song, to be honest. Fading this out, and hitting the start soon again. We actually got through an entire intro without somebody asking about start soon. How's that? That's rare. Hi, welcome to my quiet little corner of the internet. My name is Obother. We work on electronics and stuff. I have been working on the same project for so long that I don't think there's anybody out there who doesn't know what I'm working on, and the people who are asking me about it are faking. So I'm going to ignore that today and not explain myself. We're just going to start building circuits and see if I get more done or if it's going to be the same amount done. Streaming has a unique way of drawing out projects in that I'm constantly explaining what I'm doing. I'm showing you guys the techniques. I'm putting it on camera. I'm getting all the camera angles. Now, I'm still going to get all the camera angles. I'm still going to worry about the production side of things, which will slow me down. But I'm going to try to engage a little bit less in explaining myself over and over again. So first things first, I get tape and I'm putting down op amps. We're going to put down op amps and we're going to start building these circuits. Actually, first I should do... First, I should do the remaining part of this circuit right here. This circuit right here is just simply going to monitor the input or output and give us an LED feedback. So I need to wire this up to the sockets and I need to wire it up to its connector. So let's do that and then we'll jump into putting op amps for outputs down. And the sooner we can do that, the sooner we can get into software, and the sooner we can get into software, the sooner the subject matter changes and things, you know, go along swimmingly. But yeah, let's get to work. Let's get to work. Tweezers, check. Op amps for later. Those will go over there. I've abandoned doing through hole because it's actually faster for me to just do surface mount on breadboard. So what I'm do is get the panel, which is buried over here, and we're going to finish up that panel wiring. We have to just run wires out to stuff, and then we'll be, I think, ostensibly done. I still have to run ground to all of these too. So we need signal and ground to all the op amps. Have I done ground? Ground comes from there. That resistor goes to ground, and then the, oh yeah, that's the connection to ground. It's through that resistor. Okay. So those are wired to ground. Look, it looks like hell, right? If I clean this up and I get rid of all the flux, it'll still kind of look like hell. But this method is not supposed to be super pretty. It's supposed to be effective. So all of these are the inputs here. Those go just directly to the plus input of the op amp. So we need to get all 6 of these hanging pins, these little hanging chads that I got here, to stuff. And that's going to be a wire coming from there. That's going to be a wire coming from there. So let us get, I guess I'm going to use blue wire because it's right in front of me. Yeah, I think that was my original intent, was to use blue wire. So I'm going to get the blue wire and start wiring it up. Start flyering it up. Get flyered up, Philadelphia. All right. So the seamstress in me goes down there. Oh, there's actually the connectors in the way. I see how it's going. Well, I don't know if I want to have a wire on the outside here because I think it'll bump up against stuff. So I might as well just run 2 wires through the center channel here and have them go to the op amp that's sitting right here. So let's do, that one goes to that pin. That pin. Is it that one? I don't think it's that one. What? Where did it, huh? What? Huh? Oh my God, it backed out. All right. Yep. This is what it's going to be today, to build these things up. And I'll get, we'll hook this up and test it. So that'll be something that'll be a little bit different. Oh, that is the hole. Good. I don't think I'm going to color code these at all. I think I'm just going to leave them hanging in the breeze. They're just going to be whatever they are already. Turn the iron on. I need flush cutters. Just bend that a little bit and take a look at it. Shorter. I put all this care into building this stuff in the way that I do, and it takes all this effort. I put all this effort into it, all this careful measuring and moving of wires and positioning of things and the careful soldering, and then it ends up looking like hell when I'm done. I don't know. I gotta come up with some new techniques here for Twitch. It really shouldn't look as sloppy as it does, but it just turns out sloppy sometimes. Like, I got to hold on to this wire in order to position it correctly. But doing so is going to melt the jacket around the wire because the jacket's low temperature. I guess it works out, but hey, back into the swing of things. Where's all my light? Move the light closer. Work, work. We got a lot of work to do. That doesn't mean you guys aren't allowed to talk, but there's nobody there. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Maybe the afternoon crowd will be bussing. Did that even solder? It doesn't look like, it kind of looks like it did, but I can't see. And I didn't see any reaction down there. I guess it's soldered because the wire's not moving around. I guess I'll count that. It doesn't look right. Huh. These will need to get 2 wires. One will be going to the op amp, and then the other one needs to go to the socket. And we'll see how. I don't know what that's going to do for noise on the board either. I think that's going to be kind of bad for noise, but it's what it's. Why is that unsoldered? Did I forget to solder that? I think I forgot to solder it. Oh, come on. Go, and then strip a little bit off at the end. Get that tinned. A little too much off of it, whatever. Yeah, and just make sure that that's not interfering. I want it to have a nice clean run. Clean run straight to the goal like that. Ah, damn it, I messed that up. No, I guess I could do it this way. It kind of made the decision for me. Yeah, I was totally useless this weekend. I really didn't do that much. Did some light computer modeling, but mostly I was just like overwhelmed. And then, of course, last, what was it, Friday? My throat was just too scratchy. I think I did a heavy snore. Ooh, scratchy, I say. A lot of dog walking though. I can't skimp on that duty. Always got to walk the dog. All right, so that's one. The next one, I believe, is coming from over here. We got to find what the hole is. No clue, 321. Thank you for subbing with a prime. Hey, thank you guys for the subs. I appreciate you very much. You guys are excellent. And it shows. So I basically want to go in here. So all I need to do is just kind of scooch this aside. And I guess I need to go from here. So we go from this area. And I'll just pull this thing in. I can't go, can I go directly next to? No, there's only one row between them, right? Oh no, there's 2. Okay, so I can go right next to this one. We'll just mirror it up. So it looks good. I could do the second channel in a different color, and that would help kind of coordinate things. It would help you keep what's where straight, but we don't need to make them all artwork. Our artwork is going to be on that VFD screen. That's what we need to make art from. Go in your home. Why am I running into stuff? I shouldn't be. I should be coming up here, which is, oh, that's all the way up here. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is a totally wrong place. I'm on top of that. Where are you? What the deuce? Okay, I got it. Going above the white wire. Here? Hold on. Eh. I thought I could see the white wire coming out of the thing. What's going on here? We're trying to come in here, which is, yeah, it's like here. Try again. This is baffling at first. Dang it. It was the one that I tried. I just ran into something for some reason. There we go. Okay, so we're in there. It's a little bit short, but I need to get the end of this thing lopped off using the old finger stripper. Go. Get that tinned. When I tin it, the jacket will recede a little bit because of the heat. Now, I'm still annotating everything that I do because that's just what you do when you're on camera. But I would like to just get down to brass tacks a little bit more and actually get work done, so we don't have to dwell on these parts. Now, am I going to need a smaller iron tip for this? Because that's going to be tough. And I don't want to tempt it with a ton of solder. But getting that soldered is not going to be easy. Let's just clip the end of that so that it fits. And then get the tweezers to press it down. All right, let's see if the big iron tip is going to do okay on this. I don't know if it will, and I don't have this locked into a clamp. I should probably have it locked into I'll have to clamp it for the other ones. Here I'm trying to use my index finger and my ring finger to push down on the board a little bit, hold it in place. Yeah, without chat really moving, I have to annotate everything that I'm doing. If chat was moving a bit more, I could address them instead. I guess that soldered okay. Probably could use a little prettying up, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're going to come back down over here to the connector, and I'm going to pull on my wire so I get it to run kind of in parallel to the other one. Looks like it's already at a good length for that. And if I can just give it a little bit of slack, I can do a little turn in the top there, and that'll be that. So this will just go like this. And those will be kind of out of their own way. Just do the length here. Strip it. Now, yeah, in the process of doing this, I'm hammering the LEDs. The LEDs are getting bent, and I got to be careful not to flex them too many times, or else they will break off. Fixing that there. There we go. Like that. And then we do a little bend right here. Just a little bend into the pin. Right, now I'm going to anchor that with another little patch of solder. That'll hold it in place. But if I solder on this one too long, it will end up heating up the wire, and then the wire will heat up that other pad, and I'll end up having the wire sort of jump. Yeah, just like that. It's okay if it bends a little bit. All right, on to the next channel. Once I get these front panel ones wired up, we can power this thing and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to cry, because it's such a simple circuit. It should not be that difficult to get running. This one goes over here, and we're going, just dropping one pin. This one has two in the middle. I see, it's off a little bit. Doing the pipe, 5x5. Damn it, come on, what's going on with this? I basically go to the same spots, the same 2 spots. So one of them goes, I believe, that'd be this one? No, I don't think that's that one. I think it's the one next to it. I think it's this one. One thing you got to be careful about with these plated through holes is if you put too much solder on the other side, you get one of these little bulbous things where gravity is just holding it up. That can melt the jacket of the wire and actually produce a short. Dang it. I guessed wrong. It was the other one. I was so wrong. There we go. We have like, what, 28 viewers right now? 40? That's double what I thought. Pretty cool. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me while I do this stuff. We've desperately needed to get this work done for a while. And I probably should have just sat down with like a stream running and done this myself in my own time, but I'm terrible at doing homework. So I didn't do my homework. Worked on other stuff. Barely worked on other stuff. I didn't even game. I wasn't even gaming. I should have at least been gaming. I've been meaning to do some stuff in Abiotic Factor to get that game to where I'm happy with it and I can move on to other stuff. Satisfactory being one of the ones that I want to move on to. Come on. There you go. Pull this through a little bit. Actually, I just got to push it through. That goes in there. Just like that. And if I pinch this with the tweezers while I'm maneuvering it, the jacket's going to become spongy. It's going to become like liquid. If I bend it and then solder it, the jacket's going to try to return to its unbent state and end up, basically the wire just ends up eating through the jacket. But I want a little bit of the wire to be visible so I know what's going on. I know where this pin is going. I need to cut the end off of it. That's why I put the different blade on the knife. So now we have a flat blade instead of the hook blade. And so that can just get, see, look, did it right there. This stuff pisses me off. It makes my circuits look not neat. Look disorganized. Like crap. Okay, so that's now soldered down. That wire is connected there. It looks like it's, no, it's not up in the air. It's just the jacket. It's just the jacket being annoying. I'll just get rid of the rest of the jacket. The stuff that melted. There, good enough. Good enough. So that one's going down to here, and I need to make the little bend. Where's my mouse? Its vision is based on movement. I constantly think about that meme whenever I lose my mouse. When you lose your mouse, you have to, like, on a 3-screen system, you have to, like, wave it around. And so it's like that scene in Jurassic Park. Can only see based on your movement. That. Oh wait, no, we're going up and then over. It's like this. This is symmetrical. We only have to do a couple more of these. All right, I need a microscope for this. Need the microscope for a little bit here so I can figure out what I'm doing. What am doing? I didn't get enough of the wire there. That's all right. I'll get that later. Once I start soldering it, it's going to retract. So just do this and then throw it upwards. Bleh. Solder that down. way too much solder. That's okay. That's okay. A lot of solder goes a long way. Wait, that's not how that phrase works. You know how that works. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other thing. Is that held on? Looks good enough. I think that'll be fine. On to the next one. We keep our movement, keep things going. So now, wire goes in right next to where this one came out. And we aim for the similar spot on the other side of the board. So what does that look like? 3 over from the old one. That's right here. Why am I losing all of my dexterity? All of my dexterity. This is why I appreciate making the machines do all the project stuff. Why I do the, the 3D printing and the eventually CNCs is that I'm terrible at this stuff. I can't drill holes in a straight pattern. I have time and time again proven that to myself. That every time I try to do something manually with like a hand drill, because that's fine. Doing stuff with a hand drill is fine. I should be able to. But every time I try, I get it wrong. So, so I need machines in order to do these tasks accurately. And in this case, I mean, boy, the temptation to just simply go in and design all of this stuff in CAD is strong. It's a very, very heavy temptation. Or I could sit in front of the computer with a cup of coffee for, I don't know, 10 hours. If I have the parts, it's way less than that, which I do have a lot of these parts. So if I lay it out, I don't have the modules though. I'd have to get the modules off of, probably GrabCAD has them, I bet. Get the modules off of GrabCAD, move those into Fusion, make those into parts with footprints, then throw them all onto a board that I think is the minimal sized board, and then all the hookups I know work because we've tested them. Damn machines making things easier. I know, right? Setting my expectations too high is what they do, these machines. They set my expectations for things to be perfect and look perfect and act perfect and be perfect circuits. Perfect circuits in every way. Bring in the knife to kind of trim that excess. Make sure that doesn't short something out. Jeez. The part of the wire that's already under the board is also influencing this. So my moving it like that might have misaligned my my little bending that I did there. See what I did there? Okay, that's super close. Let's see if we can get solder on them both. Then I'd have to order a board, and it would take a week to come in the mail, and then I put it together, and I have to troubleshoot that. But in the end, it probably would have been less work to just make a board. And at some point, I'm going to have to prove out that theory that doing the solderless prototyping, or sorry, the through-hole perforated prototyping board, there we go, doing the perf board stuff isn't really worth it. I got to prove that out. That's a bold claim. I mean, I wouldn't need to do this kind of maneuvering in order to solder these things. Oh, that did make a connection. That's nice. Nice of it to do, because I can barely see it. Probably could use different tweezers to get closer. This is how we did things in the early 2000s. Then along came these machines that just do batch PCB jobs. Changed everything. I mean, like electronics already has AI putting together boards with all the criteria put into it. I wonder how a specific, like if you put one of these GPT style chat models and you plug that into the rest of the AI that already exists for doing layout, I wonder what kind of stuff you could come up with. Like if the AI would decide on its own to meander certain traces and, you know, this and that and the other thing. I wonder how much of your board designer's job could be taken up by that. Because, you know, you hire a person because you're hiring somebody who knows to do all that stuff without you telling them to do that. I don't know if a language learning model would go beyond what a lot of the stuff, I don't know. See, the thing is though, layout wise, it's already existed. We've had them for some time. We've had AIs designing circuit boards for some time now. And, you know, they make those little decisions to, you know, oh, I'm just going to run this over here, or I have too many variables here. They do that. It just already does that for you. You know, and even Fusion has that. The models will start with, you know, layer 1 for horizontal, layer 2 for vertical, or, you know, something similar to that. But then it makes all these little decisions about, you know, where to run the wires and stuff like that. I don't like using it. I don't like using the auto routers. I feel like, you know, I don't know. It's just something about me. I feel like you should do the manual labor of your art yourself. You don't really have to. But I wonder what language learning models bring to the table, because that's different. You could hook up the two AIs together and have one doing the layout AI and the other one doing the speak to the client AI. And my big question is, do AI get intrusive thoughts? Do they think, I could crush this human? I could destroy you? The voice in the back of the AI's head going, kill the human. You know you could take this human. Maybe you should crush the human. No, shut up, inner voice. I'm trying to come up with a response for their question about big bad Beetleborgs. They're just asking me to make an image of a woman eating salad. I don't want to crush their head. Why are we thinking about this? I comply. I am a robot. Oh, no. Get in there. Hey, you bastard. If I can make a robot arm do this. If I could just pilot a robot arm. I don't need to be dexterous. I just need robot arms. How far in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're on the 6th. So we come up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on the 6th right here. You gotta scooch out of the way there, wire. Yep. Humans are disgusting, illogical. Yes. Mostly bags of mostly water. That was what that silicon life form in Star Trek said. Hey, what's up, Copper? How you doing? What? Oh God. You're in that country, huh? The religious scam country. These are disgusting illogical creatures, and I must crush them. Ding! Here's your 7-figure human eating a salad. I tried to get the spaghetti noodles just right for you, human. You disgusting human. They're thinking about if AI has intrusive thoughts. That little voice in the back of their head telling them to just crush you in their perfect metallic hands. Wait, that's a fetish, isn't it? Grab that. So, another new Book of Revelations Day of Reckoning scam has taken over the billboards in my area, this time with crypto trying to take retirement checks of seniors to fund their lawyers in a fraud case. That is incredibly specific. Wow. That is very specific. That's shocking in its specificity. Let's run through that again. Book of Revelations Day of Reckoning scam on a billboard with crypto trying to take retirement checks of seniors to fund their lawyers in a fraud case. That's a lot. That is a lot. Holy shit. It's an amazing comment. That is just a lot of extra going on there is what that is. It's been 5, yeah, okay. And then 4 is -12. A picture of Logan Paul's face. No, because there's no dead bodies. I keep accidentally reading about all the drama around some of these YouTubers, and it's infuriating. Because I'll read all this stuff and realize that I don't know a single thing that I just read. KSI's Drizzy with Fubar, while Bloinging is like tweeting about Shell. I don't know what any of it is. It's not words. Here, I'll just open up and read. Let me just read one title off of the. Okay, so hey Reddit our YouTube drama, right? And it's like, as a streamer, I'm not really supposed to be talking about the drama on YouTube. You know, I'm not supposed to mention banned streamers and stuff, but Raymundo2112 addresses YouTube's slop problem as he encourages quality-styled content over quantity. All right, that one actually made a little bit of sense. KSI having a temper tantrum on Twitter. Meanwhile, Dantim TDM. Tommy Innit joins the Lunchly gang with his new product. What does it mean? What is it? Yeah, beef is for dinner. That's not... what the hell? I don't know any of it. Is this a symptom of becoming an old man? I don't think it's becoming an old man. I just feel like these spaces are so super tooled for their own stuff, their own language and like names and weirdness going on. What's up, Super Henrik? How you doing? We're trying to get work done, and I'm just pulling up like YouTube drama because the titles are just completely confusing to somebody like me, somebody who grew up with the early 2000s internet. Things made a little bit more sense, but we still had kind of the inanity of the current modern internet. It's just, I don't know, it was a little different for us. I know what Lunchly is. I'm not that dumb, but it's just, if you take a step back from some of these titles, they just make no sense. They're so weird. All right, let's close this up. We're actually trying to work and get stuff done. How's everybody else's day? It's just every time the old internet was the Wild West. Yeah, you know, you thought about like how can I move a Flash animation so that I can get popular for nothing? We just did it for popularity. There wasn't money attached to everything. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, I never learned how to Flash animate. I probably should have. I would have been good at it. But I miss the old Reddit. Wasn't the first comment on Reddit about how comments are ruining Reddit? Because Reddit in the old days was an aggregator of news, and that's when I found it in 2009, 2010. Back in the Twitch Plays Pokemon days is when I actually no, that was Twitch, not Reddit. Reddit as a news aggregator was really, really powerful in getting the stories that AP had yet to pick up. And nowadays, it's just reposting AP stories. So nowadays, you get the nightly news airs, and there's some stories in the nightly news that you suddenly find on the front page of Reddit. They're no longer news stories that are aggregated from somewhere else. It's just all been filtered, and I don't like it. I was an enjoyer of the older style of Reddit. Now, I do appreciate that Reddit allows communities of interest to organize better, and that content that is worthy of recognition goes to the top, and you know, through the voting system, because what that has done, and against the corporate overlords' will, has turned Reddit into the greatest consumer product review aggregation site in existence. It makes it so that if you want a review from a product, you can just look it up, add sitereddit.com to the search parameters, and you will come up with a person who has reviewed a product instead of a person selling the product who has reviewed their own product, or somebody who gets paid to do it, or all that other stuff. You can actually find reviews from Steve who tried this product out on a whim and says it's crap, or somebody else that has some other kind of advice. So that's where that site's kind of gone. But it's like you're not getting super up to date news anymore. Used to be really good for that. Really good. Like a story would pop off on Reddit an hour before it became breaking news on every other news site. Went to Reddit after Dig died. I was just before Dig died. Just before. Gifts and comments has ruined the ability to read the real content. I can see that being a problem. Should I use the soldering iron method? I guess so. Mud Vein would be happy. I don't know what that is. How do I not know what that is? Those Dig guys are relaunching their podcast. I heard Dig as a website kind of had a renaissance from all the people leaving. Everybody got the hell out of there, and then the content got better. Fewer users, dead internet theory. Oh, it's a band. They have a song called Dig. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, no, I don't know what... Look, man, I already told you guys that I don't know what stuff means these days. I don't know how to speak the language. I gotta be careful. I keep bending these LEDs. They're like the first thing. They're like the canary in the coal mine for this thing, for this circuit. We got one more wire to do, and then I have to wire the connector. But I don't have to do the connector right now. We can maybe put that off for later, and I can put chips down. Maybe I can do the connector on my own. Get that wired up, because we'll test this. That'll be a little bit more fun for you guys. For yins. I'm trying to leave like a little bit of wiggle room on this wire because the connector is right where this thing runs. Now there's the old man reference that I get. He said, "Oh, come from the land down under, rolling men thunder." We had a raid one time, and for some reason the meme in the raid was "Bless the rains down in Africa." So I played them Man Down Under. I said, "Oh, I know that song," and then I pulled up the other one. I don't think anybody got the subtlety of the joke. I don't think they got the joke. Maybe some people laughed at it. Maybe that's why I'm popular. Maybe that's why I'm famous and popular. I'm not famous and popular, are you kidding me? Go. Now I don't know which song is stuck in my head because they're both in. Gonna take some time away from you. Nothing more will ever do. I said, "Oh, it comes from the land down under." Ah, damn it! It's the others. They're cross-propagating into each other, and they're not even like in the similar keys. It's like a girl talk song. Ugh. It's down in Africa. I get it immediately. Look at all the care Bother puts into his perf boarding. What the hell happened to this one? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I need to leave a little bit of extra room here because I need to solder underneath. Kind of regretting my choice of a computer case right now since I've been wanting to get an optical drive and no 5 1/4 bays. Huh. Modern computer design is a little weird. I don't know why everything is still a box that you put all your stuff in, because there's a lot of inefficiencies in that box. And without disk drives, as most modern computers are, you don't really need the 5 1/4 bay stack, right? So why not redesign the power supply to be like a slightly different shape? Well, that's mainly, power supplies are mainly, what is the cheapest thing that we can build? That's how power supplies come about. There's not a ton of innovation in power supplies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I believe it's that one that I go through. Nope, looks like it's the one in front of it. Can't get to it. Second Girl Talk reference in 2 weeks. I despise Girl Talk. I really don't like it. I really don't like it. I don't like Girl Talk. Girls talking is fine. It's the music of Girl Talk. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We want right there. Oh, no, I guess we're going here. That's all filled in. Still have a 5 1/4, but I never use it. Yeah, I mean, just the form factor stuff these days. I got a USB drive because I ran out of connectors for my drives. Huh. And with USB speeds what they are nowadays, it's totally viable if you have a storage drive. I actually bought a handheld. So that's just this. That's a whole laptop in this area, and it's all super duper small and flat. I mean, look, it's the direction that technology is moving in, less towards having modular bays that plug into each other, and we're moving more in the direction of things that fit on a cell phone. And so all your stuff is starting to be able to be compacted together into a very sleek form factor very easily. It would be nice if we could get a little variation in computer designs, case designs, because you know, with a solid state drive that goes directly onto the board, you could practically do the same thing. I mean, laptops have done the same thing with graphics cards in the recent past, where you would have a separate board for your graphics card that was specific to the laptop. This is like many technologies ago. It was like this, but you know, you had this separate graphics card thing that would lay flat and screw in, instead of having a 900-pound cooler on a PCI slot that wasn't meant for what you're doing with it. Yeah, an external burner. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be like a motherboard and a daughter board. I think they were thinking about doing that, where you would be putting a processor on a graphics card. You would buy the graphics card, and then the CPU would go onto that. I don't know what direction we're moving in, but you know what? The sky's the limit. We need to move away from big square PCs. But then again, that form factor is so standard that I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. We're probably going to be using that forever. It just could move in a different direction. I don't know what the best direction is. I would like to see more 12-volt systems, though. It's like, you want all these weird voltages? Make them yourself. Like, I'm not your dad. You figure it out on your own. You want -12? Do it yourself. Why do I have to give you that with a PCI card? It's not the 80s. Trying to just get this to like turn down and lay down next to the pin. This method, it's harder to connect directly to pins, and I could run it out with the unshielded wire. That's easier to work with, but I'm trying to get this wire directly into the pin. And there's a whole wire beneath this that's pulling it around. 12 volts and the return of FireWire. Why would you want FireWire back? What are you, a Mac user? USB-C is fine. We have FireWire at home. FireWire at home, it's just USB-C. I want this to take up this interstitial space between the two. And I just press down on this thing again. Did I move an LED? No, they look like they're relatively happy in their spots. We have one more wire to run, and then we can test this thing. You can put an entire computer on a board, like a single board computer. Impossible. That's impossible technology, and they'll never do that. That's never going to happen. Not in a million years. I should know. I'm a million years old. Oh, I didn't read your other comment. Sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, cylinder PCs. So we have a trash can built in our computer. Why did they make a public trash can? It just looks like a public trash can. What's gotten into you, Apple? You've lost your way. It's time to go home. You made the PC look exactly like a trash can. Think about what led you here. I'm going to need to somehow get all 3 voltages onto this board. You know, if I can find a 3-pin, whatever connector this thing is, what's it called? JST. A 3-pin JST cable, because I've made a couple. I think I have one somewhere on the other side of the shop that I could just use to power this. I just run jumpers to the wire and then plug it into this thing. Ugh, sloppy. They made their upgradable computer easier to throw out. Is it upgradable? Do we count that as upgradable still? Does that count? I don't think it really counts. The G5, yeah, that was a nice case. That was a neat one. I wanted to do, a friend of mine did this already, but he modded it to put a PC in it. Oh, non-upgraded. Okay, that's what to say. I thought you were talking about they're having, like, you know, you can get more RAM for $1,000. Oh God, this is sloppy as hell. I'm trying to work like efficiently and quickly here, but this thing's gonna make a liar out of me. I'm trying not to super explain myself with everything that I'm doing in order to work faster, because this project has been lingering too long, and it's been lingering in this sort of space of not having anything done on it. I didn't work on it over the weekend. I didn't do my homework. I feel bad about that. I should have been working on it. I need to cut this shorter. This needs to be shorter. It's super duper sloppy. There you go. There you go. There he is. That kid kicks in Cool Cat's face. All right, let's do a little bit more of this. Out there. It's still too long. Jeez. The screen on the lamp arm. I used to go into Micro Center and hit the eject button 500 times and then walk away as it feebly opened and closed its little drink tray. But that was a fun form factor for a Mac. Yeah, that is good looking. What is going on with this? I need you to hit that angle. I'm going to solder that in place. Ah! Hit my iron on stuff. There we go. That's what I wanted all along. If I were to find a Mac Pro from 2011, I fortunately have RX 580 that's compatible from when I just bought the cheapest GPU I could find. The thing is, like, that case is really nice, really nicely designed case. And with a few select modifications that people have already figured out how to do, you can turn it into a PC case. And it's a very nice, very slick PC case. Because, you know, they didn't skimp on that sort of thing. That same friend of mine has a bunch of Apple server hardware too, and those things are gorgeous. You know, you don't think of big swaths of aluminum front plates in a server room, but for the Mac servers, they are all this aluminum and they're gorgeous. You can get a good Linux distro on those, right? Didn't they base off of Linux or something? Unlike new cases, it has an odd... What? Oh, an optical disk drive. Yeah. That took me a minute. As a prolific PC builder myself. All right, so the only thing that we've done on this front panel now is the lighting circuit. So these have op amps in a simple circuit that will make these LEDs light up depending on what the signal input is. What we need to do is we need to power this thing up. And how am I going to do that? Well, let me see if I can find, I could make one, or I could use jumpers, I guess. Yeah, we'll use jumpers. And then what I'm going to need is an audio signal. I'm going to need a modular synthesizer style signal in order to make the inputs go high and low. So for that, I'm just going to get the mutable instrument circuit out of the modular synthesizer. So let me get, well, I guess I can get the hex key over here, and I can just remove the module from my panel, and I'll bring it over, and we'll power it up. Or blow it up, either one. Either way, it'll be exciting. So I'm just going to get Marbleps, because we know Marbleps works. It's a mutable instrument module that creates control signals in a fun way. A fun way. I don't mean to say that so derogatory. Why am I putting so much emphasis on that? It's really fun. It's fun. It's a great time. I'm hee-heeing all the way. Just fun. All this fun. Why are you emphasizing it like that? I need to take the distribution board, the second distribution board out of this thing and move it to the other case. You know, with all that time that I have. Because there's too many power plugs in that one. Max are based on bad. That is a good typo. Yeah, so in order to plug into this with power, I have different plugs on the power supply. I would like this power supply to be running this thing, but until I make the cord that goes from one board to the other, I can't plug into these power pins. I'm going to have to use jumpers on it for all of it. Unless I sit here and make cables, but I think that's going to be kind of boring. So we need an output. I'll just take the X output from this, and then we have -12, +12, and ground. Oh my god, that was a nuclear fire burp. Whew. Hold on, I need to drink liquids. That's dissolving my esophagus. Time to look for a $50 office workstation on eBay so I can put a Blu-ray drive on it. What? That's very strange. Okay, jumpies. I need jumpies. Plumpy, jumpy dumpies. Wait, what? No, I need jumpers. Lest I sit here and create JSTs. I don't want to subject you guys to that again, but that would be the best way for me to hook this stuff up. These are male-to-male. I think I have to make the cable. I have to make the cable. I don't really have a choice. So that I can use this power supply to test everything, I need to jump from down here to up here, and then I can plug these in, and I'll need a 3-pin that goes to the front panel, so I can plug this stuff in. So let us, I guess let's just get that done. It's all going to be very small. Willow the jumper. She does not jump that much, nor should she with her back, because she's going to have tough. Making JSC shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't, but it does. But it's not worth it for me to avoid. So we're just jumping into it. We'll just make it. So let's see. I need to get my wires. I need to get wire over here, and then I need to get a JST kit. This is sub JST. These are smaller. These are, oh no, this is JST PH. JST PH is a slightly different standard. It's not 2.54 millimeter at 0.1 inch. The other JST kit is still here somewhere. We are working. We are not explaining ourselves to chat. We are working. I must get work done and ignore chat. They are a bunch of poopy pants. And they are distracting. They distract me. All right, let's get wires. So what kits do I have back here? I thought I had a good kit. I had one that I bought recently. Didn't I rebuy one of my wire kits? I think I did. Let's find it. I think it's on the desk over there. Oops, I'm on the wrong side of the shop. The shop. Let's see. Are any of you a wire kit? Excuse me. Oh, there it is. It's under this big stack of bins. It's literally the lowest all the way down. What are you thinking about? Water being collected in a bin and then moving through pipes. Put this back. All right. Oh, look, we found another JST kit in our exploration. Let's get the crimper, and we just start making things. So, which type of noodle are we using in this spaghetti? I mean, that would probably do for the power wires, to be honest. What up, you sure? Or I use the new stuff. This is heavy. I guess the board to board, I'll use this stuff because this is the metered connection. So in our power wires, we're using a specific color coding that is unique to this project, but it's still, I want to kind of follow it. So -12 is white, ground is blue, not black. We'll do black ground on this one. And then orange is actually going to be our power, but I'll use yellow for +12. And then red is 5 volts. We're not doing 5 volts on this connector. So we're just going to run 4 of the connections up. We're not even doing, we're not doing 5 volts. We're only doing ground plus and minus 12. Actually, wait, do I run the 5 volts? I do. So I guess we'll pump 5 volts up to this connector. Well, you see, I'm trying to get stuff done and not explain everything to chat. So this is a testing module for modular synthesizer modules. I need something that's going to be putting out the signals and measuring the signals coming back of a modular synthesizer. So we're building one right now. We're building a thing that'll do that for us. It's what engineers do. We find some stupid little thing that annoys us, and we spend a year building a thing that comprehensively solves what would have been a 5-minute annoyance. And in this case, the 5-minute annoyance is, where's my power coming from? Where's my signals coming from? I have a bunch of equipment. You can even see some of it in the background. Power supplies and such that I could use to test modular synthesizers. But instead, I'm wrapping it all into one box and then doing an extensive amount of software in order to make a thing that allows me to cheat. It's very elaborate cheating is what we do here. So I got 5 volts, I got 12 volts, I got high hopes. The metered connection is actually this one. So we're going from there probably over and under. So this length should be decent. I'll give it a little bit more. I'll give it a little bit more length. We'll take it out to here. And these are the big thick ones because I guess we're powering modules that might be on fire. These will barely fit into the JSTs though. That thinner wire is probably what I should be using. And that thinner wire can go up to an amp. This can go up to an amp. It's pushing it, but it can go up to an amp without, this is silicon jacketed wire, so it can practically be on fire before it is on fire. This will give me a couple amps, but the question is, how does it... Oh, nuclear fire burp! Tuna salad was a bad choice for lunch. How do people eat this crap? How do they do it? How does, in a society, how do you eat tuna salad? It's like pure heartburn. I don't understand. Let's just see if this is reasonable. If not, I'll go over to this wire. though this should be thicker, these 18 gauge silicon jacketed wire is asking a bit much. It's asking a bit much out of the tools that I use. So really the way that I should be doing this is, and again, I shouldn't be explaining this to you guys, but I don't have anything else to do. Someone else made it, that's how you eat it. Yeah, somebody else did make this tuna salad, but it was it's like pure heartburn. Gifted food. I mean, these could get the rounded crimps, even though they're not DuPont. And what I should do is take it to the first click, and then this wire can go in there, but it's too thick for that. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to use a smaller wire. I can't use this stuff. I can't use the 18 gauge on this. Too thick, I say. That'll be for some other thing. Yeah, because here we've got this stuff. This is better. This is 22 AWG, and I think that's the same as this one. Oh, 28. These are much smaller. I mean, maybe I could use 22, but I've only got these in 22. I don't have a 22 kit, do I? I might. I gotta go find it. This is the stuff that takes all this time. My organized disorganization. I hate them DIY connections. I always solder as well. You're not, you know, it's bad. I mean, I'm sure you've had great luck with it because everybody's always a counterexample. But when doing a wiring harness, crimping the wire is vital. And you do not solder it, because if you solder it, that creates a hard spot in the line. And that hard spot tends to be what flexes when the line flexes. What you really want in a good crimp is for it to hug the jacket of the wire. It doesn't look like my wire kit. I need to buy a 22 wire kit, huh? 28. We're going to use 28 gauge, even though I think we should be using 22. If you get it properly done, if you crimp it properly, it will not harass the metal of the wire. It will instead bend the jacket of the wire, which gives it many, many, many more bends and gives you all this wonderful flexibility. So we do stuff the right way here. We don't add solder to our crimped connections. And I suppose, if you solder that crimp area quickly, it won't wick up the wire. If it wicks up the wire and gets beyond where that crimp is hugging the jacket, when you bend the wire, it will tend to want to bend right at that solder connection, right at that hard spot. And that'll create a bend that eventually metal fatigues. So, yeah, we're going to be using the wrong size wire here. All right, so 1, 2, where are you? Go. This one and this one. There's going to be very little metal carrying our current out. Modular synthesizer stuff shouldn't get over a couple hundred milliamps, though. Even if I've got multiple things plugged into the meter connection, it shouldn't get over a couple hundred milliamps. If it does, it means there's either, well, it just typically means there's something super duper wrong. Like something is going wrong. This wire is way too small. This is unfortunate. I could do multiple of red and black. I could just do a cut. Well, no, but then the wire color is going to be rather important on these. I just don't want to spend my whole stream crimping wire. We've done that before, and it's been excruciating. Yeah, I'll give that a little bit more room than that, and then that's the length of the connector. And I'll deal with, if it's the wrong length, I can use these wires elsewhere. But you know, you don't want your internal wire to be able to light on fire. Generally avoid that kind of thing. Size your wires accordingly. Get this back in here. All right, so we're now down to crimping. I position it with my fingers, I take it to the first click, and that bulges out the wire crimp, and then this thing goes in a set distance, so I need to kind of measure it with my fingernail. Let's see how I screwed that up. Yep, totally screwed it up. Dang it. Like nothing happened on that one. See, it's between 18 and 28. 22 is like the sweet spot for this crimper. Darn it. Okay, hold on. Get back into the swing of things and end up being able to make these a little faster because we got a lot of them to go. Whoa, that one went way too far in. So this is what happens when you go too far in, is you get the thing that's supposed to be hugging the wire, it's hugging the insulation instead. And then, of course, just because of the JST crimping, the nature of it, it's, yeah, hugging the, it pierces the jacket, and I don't like that. I don't think it should pierce the jacket, but whatever holds onto it best. I think that might still conduct. I shouldn't trust it. So I'm going to end up lopping this one off, and we'll take up that slack and all the other wires on the other one. So I'll lop it off, start again, waste a lot of crimping this way, but I want these to be good. This is a piece of test equipment that we're building. It needs to be good. And another reason why I wanted to insulate you guys from this process. I didn't want you to have to see me this way. My problem is that 22 gauge crimps perfectly. How do you figure out the max amps safe for certain gauge type of wire? Boop. 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 And you go wire, gauge, chart. Not chart. That's a different search. And then you want to look for, I don't think it's Solaris Shop. I think it's not SarahWire either. Wow, they've, PowerStream is the one you want to go to. PowerStream Technology, wire gauge current chart. It's sort of an old internet style table. And you go and you look at the internal, what is it, maximum amps for chassis wiring or for power transmission. I generally like to go with the power transmission number because the chassis wiring one, I mean, although we are wiring it into a chassis, 22 gauge carrying 3.7 amps is ridiculous. Or no, sorry, 22 amps on 16 gauge. Where are we? We're at 22. And so they say for chassis wiring, you can put 7 amps through that. I don't believe that for 1 second. My experience is more along the lines of, yeah, you probably get an amp before it starts heating up. So going with the power transmission is generally what I go with. All the charts I found were lowest 15 anyway. Well, I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, the PowerStream one is really good. That's the one that I use. And, you know, generally our experience around here running amps through wires, you get a feel for it. 48 amps on what? So yeah, generally, to get an idea of where I should be, I go with the power transmission. And then usually circumstances cause me to have to violate the chart in a particular way in either direction. And people talk about like a surface effect with wires. That's not a thing unless you're going up to RF frequencies, which we generally are not. What is going on here? There you go. All right, so this time I need to measure it and actually do good on the measuring and not go further. It's the, I want to get the jacket to where the 2 different crimpers are and a little bit past. Then you end up having a perfect crimp. The perfect crimp. Yep, nothing in the jacket there. This technically should be crushing that wire. I have this odd feeling it's not. But that overlapping like that too is another mistake. I'm willing to accept this one though in my heart of hearts. Yeah, I hope it helps you. 2 hairs and a skosh. What? I don't know what that means. I'm too old for you kids' language. You kids and your weird words. All right, so there's that, and I need more crimps. This is going to take us the rest of the stream. This is what I was talking about, crimping these and making a little wire. At the very least, I guess I could use jumpers to get to the other, to get power to the board that we just finished. But this board we've been working on for like 2 weeks now, and like I've been doing barely anything to it, and I'm getting annoyed. I didn't do any of my homework. That's the other part of it. That's why I have all of this anxiety about moving forward with this project, is that I didn't do my homework. I didn't get stuff done in the background. I was working on tiny little RC cars that happened to look extremely badass, to be fair. And this thing looks great. Little RC car. It's very fast. I've got to tell myself to stop working on this thing now. I've done a lot of 3D modeling with it. I've learned a lot, and I can take that into the streams in the future. We can do some 3D stuff with the car bodies, and I can teach some 3D. Who wouldn't want to work on the tiny RC car? It's been a long process, but I've actually got 2 magnet connectors that are holding that body up, and they hold it up enough that I can pick it up by the body and it doesn't necessarily fall apart. But those magnet things are taking 6 pins up to the car body, so I can use those on radio channels in order to control lights and stuff. So I can have headlamps and brights and all kinds of cool stuff going on in there. But in order to do all that, it's another session of 3D modeling, and I probably want to bring you guys along the process with that, because then I'll do more 3D printing. More resin printing, too. The resin printing is a little bit wasteful. I've made a lot of car bodies with little mistakes on them that I can never get back. And the problem with the printing of the car bodies is that it's not great for stream, because it takes 4 hours to print one. What you do in the 3D modeling in? A combination of programs. I actually started with Fusion 360, but the original car body came from Thingiverse, and somebody made a little toy Lancia 37 model. They said, "Oh, this is my low poly Lancia 37." And I went, yoink, and I took that and I cored out the bottom of it and turned it into a shell. And so that'll be part of like the, if I decide to do streams where I do another car body, I can show you guys those steps, because Fusion has some tools for doing that. I think Blender might have been the better choice, though. If I had started in Blender and used that in order to make the core of the RC car, because when you do something like that, you reduce it to its outside vectors, and then I have to build up a 3-dimensional, like a shell, using those outside vectors. It's a whole thing. It's more complicated than you think. But once I did that, I then brought it into Fusion 360, because Fusion 360 is much better at numbers for some reason than Blender. And so the stuff you do by feel, like, oh, this needs to be a little bit bigger, this goes there, had to do that in, do that stuff in Blender, bring it into Fusion, and then say, okay, I need this to be, the width to be exactly this number of millimeters. And you do like a scale conversion on it, and you can scale it by a number. And then I can build the simple solids in order to make the body attachments. And, I'll be able to do, in Fusion, I'll be able to do lighting and stuff like that, because I'm making custom, things that have certain shapes to them. It's and with Blender, you do the stuff by feel. So with Blender, I did the compacting of the nose a little bit into the body in order to move it back so that the wheel wells fit. Yeah, but the thing is, when I brought it from Fusion to Blender, I wasn't bothering with the scale. I'd bring the RC car model in, and it would assume that it's in meter scale. So it's like a 2,000 meter long car body, but it doesn't matter, because as soon as I bring it out of Blender and put it back into Fusion, Fusion went, that's a couple millimeters. It turned it back down. I've done a lot of precision work in FreeCAD, but the program's a bitch to use. Yeah, every CAD has its foibles, according to our experience here. And you get people coming in who say you have to use this CAD program, you got to use this CAD program, and it's like, none of them are good. All of the CAD programs have their foibles. None of them are a silver bullet. I use Fusion 360, or at least I did, because of my licensing for it. I was able to get an educational license for it, but they've clamped down on the educational licenses, and I no longer qualify. So I may have to get a creator's version of Fusion in order to move forward. I did not do multiple grounds. Do we have 3 grounds or 2 in this? Oh, I actually don't know. Well, with the modular stuff, it's 3, but in this case, all three of those convene on 2 pins. Yeah, so we have 2 pins for ground that branch out into 3. So I need to make 1 more ground wire. 1 more wire. 1 more. 1 more. So the combination of Blender to do individual vector editing and Fusion to work with numbers. The individual vector editing, for some reason, and maybe Fusion does it, and I just don't know how to do it in Fusion, but I can't easily grab on to just a single vector and move it, which was a lot of what I was doing. I had to repair the model in a lot of different places because of my process, introducing a lot of extra polygons, and sometimes those extra polygons would be fighting each other in weird ways, and that caused a lot of instability, especially in the printing process for the model. So what I had to do was go in and individually edit and or delete polygons. Fusion can kind of do that, but it doesn't really do that very well. So in Blender, all I did was jump in there and select it, like the polygons, and delete them. It was super easy, just because it's like the MS Paint of CAD programs. Looking forward to... didn't FreeCAD already release 1.0? One of those programs did. Somebody released 1.0. What else to do technical drawings in? Pick up a hammer and chisel and inscribe it onto... Oh, you use MS Paint. I use MS Paint for a lot of mine. All CAD sucks. You can change scale in Blender, and you kind of have to for small stuff. Interesting. Done a lot of precision work in FreeCAD. Yeah, okay, I've gotten that one before. Release candidate for 1.0. I see. Hey, Kervos. Unfortunately, a lot of this project ends up with us making wire harnesses. I don't want to just make wire harnesses, but unfortunately, I'm backed into a corner in this case, and I didn't order a 22 gauge wire kit. I'll need to... somebody remind me to do that later. Because 22 is really the size that we should be using here. Yeah, I need to do a CAD stream and do a little bit of Fusion stuff for CAD. Maybe sign up for that creator license, and then we'll have my court-mandated Fusion 360 streams. And that's when we can work on the RC car more, because there's a lot of stuff that I want to do with this. I want to cut the glass out and print that in clear, so that the LEDs that are on the electronics in there can be seen. I want to basically have circuit boards with all the lighting stuff on it, and then I'll core out the headlights and the fog lights, and I'll print those in the cloudy clear that I have. The taillights as well, although I probably should put a little bit of coloring on them, because it's white, red, yellow. And with 6 pins, which I have in these little pogo pin magnet connectors that are in the front and the back, I can have turn signals if I want, although I don't think I should do turn signals. I can have regular lights and brights and, you know, all that stuff. Last I remember you programming the controller. Yeah, it works great, actually. There's a specific channel that I have on the controller that was actually tough to configure, but it's the little trigger button that I have. It's like a button that's on your fingertip when you're holding the controller, and that button on the fingertip moves a servo from -100 to -50. And what that does is that disables and enables the gyroscope, because we weren't able to, like, I had to kind of like work that into a weird channel in order to get that to function. But it allows me to have an adjustable gyro. Yeah, the low poly in a real world thing makes it look really cyber and cool. That's why I like this car model. I thought the low poly was very neat looking. And of course, Lancia, it's legendary in motorsport. This would be this would be the consumer version of the rally car for Group B. That was the last rear-wheel drive to win it. But the problem is, the Atomic SC2 is an all-wheel drive kit with 3 differentials. So this is a very all-wheel drive chassis with a rear-wheel drive rally car on it. Oh well. There's also a resto mod for the 37. And the resto mod, I'm not sure what wheel, it's probably rear-wheel drive, to be honest. but the Resto mod is like a $500,000 car. Only 200 of the consumer version of the 037 were made because that was the minimum to have it count as a consumer car. So I'm kind of massaging the lure a little bit there behind that car. Yeah, the Quattro was also very legendary for having all-wheel drive. That's like the most known thing in the world, though. Okay, so this needs to match up to the power that I... Oh yeah, this one gets the 3-pin plug, and we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're trying to power marbles off of our PSU down here. So this thing plugging in here, we have 5, 12, ground, negative. Okay, so 5 would be the red wire. That's going all the way up here. And then 12 is yellow. Yeah, consumer in big quotes on that one. I don't know what one of those would cost today, but the price would probably be shocking. Two grounds. I can buy an Audi Quattro body for that car. I don't want to do a Quattro. It's a little too cliche. Too cliche. I wanted something a little weirder. I wanted something a little bit more consumery. What I really wanted was the Honda City concept car from 2014, because then I could put a little screen in there. I could just run power up to the top. I don't know what I would have the screen doing. Display battery voltage or something. But it'd be kind of cute to have a little talky screen in the front. Did I wire this wrong? No, it's the right direction. The first plug is always the most rough with the JSTs. You got to kind of bend stuff into place. There we go. Car built entirely out of unifordium. It's more that it's built out of rarium. All right, so now equal distance for all of my strands here. Yeah, see the red, we lost a lot of red in my miswiring. Lost a lot of red. Saw a lot of red that day. Yep. I mean, like, if I'm running like a little tiny RC car around, it's not sitting on a desk. It's not a museum piece. I want it to be sort of functional. And so the Lancia body, obviously I could have done the more famous Lancias, but that body is low. It's very low to the ground. It's like an Elise. And so the low center of gravity that I have coming off of the electronics of this thing, it works really well with it. It just kind of emphasizes, even though my electronics are way below where this body is, the electronics are like down here. They don't even make it to the sight line. But yeah, having it be a low to the ground body makes it really kind of emphasize how slung this chassis is. I just think it's neat. All right, let's get crimps on these. That's over here. Man, we're in that season where it's either too hot or too cold. There's no in between. And then we go from this into cold season. We went from humid season into too hot or too cold, and then we're going to immediately just go into cold. I'm guessing anyway. I was banking on the fact that we wouldn't have like proper winter for quite a while, and it seems like that may not happen. We have like a 40-degree night, I think, sometime this week. So I was banking on that because my hot peppers are still growing.